What? Bradley.
What?
I just started recording and I look over and never mind. Anyways,
Have you heard about the Jesse thing?
what Jesse thing?
Oh, I know what you're talking about, Joe.
Okay. I don't think I'll say anymore because it's pretty bad.
Jesus Christ. Anyways, I gotta scroll up back to Karu Vivi. Um, so next up, 4th of July happened, and after I came home from a barbecue pool function, it was time to binge the fuck out of Stranger Things, and I did. Watched it all. It was really good. Have any of y'all watched Stranger Things? Do you like it? Do you care?
I saw the first half of Stranger Things 1, and then I just stopped.
Why is this?
I don't like scary things.
Oh my god. Okay. Bradley?
Yeah, one day, my cousin was like, "Hey, Stranger Things is pretty good. You should watch it." And I went home, and I watched the first episode. I was like, "This is really good," and I binged the rest of season 1 that night, and I really loved it. It was a lot of fun. I really liked it as a season. I've never been particularly interested in continuing. Everyone says it is still really good, and I imagine it is. Maybe I'll continue it in the future, but I think it also just works really well.
Let's see if I can work my Willer magic then. I'll put a spell on you. Okay, so Stranger Things season 3. This season only 8 episodes as opposed to 9 like last season. Very, very tight, very well paced, as is the usual Stranger Things. I feel like 8 is just such a good episode count number. The cast is bigger than ever, introducing even more characters now. It's got all the kids, including Max, who is a way bigger part of the season. She was in season 2, and she was a character that a lot of people didn't like in that season because she's like a wedge in between characters that you wanted to see get together, but she was there kind of being problematic. She's well integrated into the group now, and she's really fun in this season, actually. You got new character Robin, who works with Steve, and she's part of the fan service crew, which is Steve, Dustin, Robin, and Lucas's sister Erica, who had a way more screen time this season, and she's hilarious. She almost doesn't fit. She's like this really sassy, younger sister kind of character, where she's just every other character is so like 80s kid, kind of like over the top, but also grounded in the same time. Where it's just like they're people that you could imagine meeting. They're just all like kind of crazy energetic people at the same time, but Erica is just on another level. She's just the sass queen. And there's other characters introduced midway through the season, including Alexei, who is this Russian spy who gets added to the mix. It's hard to talk about these characters because even you guys wouldn't even know the season 2 characters because Joe's a scaredy cat and Bradley hasn't watched it. So it's like a lot of characters from season 2 made it to season 3, and they're way better now. Especially, I think Billy's a big one. He's this asshole, like just the most over the top asshole. He is probably the most over the top character in the show. Just asshole jock. Smells his own fart. Just looks real good. Everyone loves him. Everyone loves him because he's hot. Because he's the douche. So like people don't love him for his personality. He's just that kind of guy. And he gets such a cool role this season. So this season plays really well off of the relationships set up in the previous seasons, where now Mike and Eleven are dating, and they're teenagers, and they're just horny and kissing all the time. And Hopper is fucking losing his mind. God, I can't even talk about that because you haven't seen season 2. Anyways, Hopper has a really good interplay with Mike because of that. Joyce is being the crazy mom that she always is, and Winona Ryder is such a good actress, and she's so fun in that role. And all the kids, Dustin's back from vacation. He has a girlfriend now who doesn't really exist because he tries to call her and no one believes him.
Ooh.
But does she exist though?
Ooh.
Ooh. And then you got Lucas is dating Max, and Lucas is always the character who gets the least amount of screen time, I feel like. He never gets any important plot lines. He's just kind of the friend who's there. But every season, he gets some really good moments. Kind of still, like, not as many as I would like in the previous seasons, but in this one, I feel like he was very helpful to tackling the threat. Which, speaking of the threat, I think I covered all the big major characters. Well, there's Nancy and... oh my god. Bradley, what was Will's brother?
Oh man, I would not be able to tell you. I watched
Jonathan.
I watched season 1 back when it first came out.
Yeah, I was hoping you could, but yeah,
I wouldn't be able to remember.
Nancy and Jonathan are doing their own thing for a lot of the season, but they get introduced back into the main crew really in a really fun way midway through. And I guess the only big character I missed is Will, who is not tortured this season, which is a disappointment. Because as much as Will is one of my favorite characters, but him getting tortured is one of the best parts of Stranger Things, which is really fucked up. But like that actor just sells all the pain that he goes through.
Yeah, that's the plot of Stranger Things. Is Will getting fucked up?
Will suffering is a big part. Except this time, Will's not the surfer; it's Billy, and that was really fun.
Billy boy.
Billy boy. Yeah, and the threat of this season. It's a really good threat. It's I'll just whatever. I'm gonna say it's the Mind Flayer, which is also the big threat of season 2, but he's back now in a really fun way. And this is so Joe. This is by far. I don't think season 1 of Stranger Things is scary. This is by far the scariest season. It was actually like horror at some points. It's even shot like horror movies at certain scenes, and it's really good about that.
Yeah, that's the thing is with Stranger Things season 1, I maybe the genre's horror. I never.
It's not the first episode is kind of scary.
Yeah, like I never lumped Stranger Things into the horror genre, at least for season 1.
This season, big horror. This thing is possessing all the mice in the town. Because that's its ability. It's from the Upside Down, but it can possess and influence things. And he gets all the mice to like drink a bunch of ammonia so that they explode and turn into flesh, so he can form a gross body of flesh. And he looks disgusting.
That sounds fucking cool.
He looks so cool. And he starts taking over the town slowly. Like he amasses a force of people he's controlling in the town. So it has like a zombie vibe where it's like slowly people are turning. But the cool thing about this is that even though they're being possessed by the Mind Flayer, they retain their personalities. So you get these really creepy scenes of them saying things that they would say, but in fucked up ways. And
oh my god, I love that.
You get fantastic horror out of that. Where
Stranger Things always seemed very Stephen King-ish to me, and this is even more so.
Well, it's so unapologetically 80s, which is another segue into another part. This season revolves around a mall. It's called the Starcourt Mall. It's a big 80s, late or early 90s mall where it's really flashy. Everyone's hanging out there. It really captures that vibe. And there's a Russian... This is all episode 1 stuff. So there's Russians underneath the mall. And they're trying to open the Upside Down because it's not even explained. They're like, hey, they're Russians and this is an 80s flick. So you know they're bad. And it's like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, like Russians doing stuff. I don't need any more explanation.
That being said, they introduced this one Russian character called Alexei, and he was the fucking best. Big laughs out of Alexei. And yeah, the season revolves around the fan service quartet trying to figure out what's going on with the Russians. And then the kids Will can sense the Mind Flayer due to season 2 stuff, so they're kind of like trying to figure out what's going on there. They're also dealing with relationship stuff because it's teenagers, and hey, you have a psychic girlfriend who can spy on you at any time and then also just do weird psychic shit.
That whole sentence sounded like the title of the next season's biggest anime.
Oh, I can't wait. Well, no, because there's
My
not.
girlfriend is psychic and can spy on me at any time and blow stuff up with her
But
brain.
also, we're in a video
it's not my
game.
girlfriend, it's my stepsister.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my stepsister.
It's my stepsister, and they're in a video game.
Yeah.
Jesus. And that's what that crew is doing. Nancy and Jonathan, their side of the investigation is getting closer to the Mind Flayer, and then Hopper and Joyce are getting at they're getting at the Russians from a different angle, where even the mayor of the town's involved, and they're like tackling it from there. And this is something Stranger Things does really well. It has a bunch of groups of characters, and it knows it does. So it splits them up in the beginning of the season, and it's done this all 3 seasons, and then it combines them at some point. And you feel really good. It's like, oh my god, they're finally combining, and this piece of the mystery fits into this piece, which all the pieces of the mystery in this one, there's some plot holes in the first episode, but after that, they're like really good. And you're really engaged, and you can't wait for them to get together and talk about things and start trying to solve the issue. And this season does something really smart, where it solves the issue by it gets to that point of putting them together in an earlier fashion, where in later seasons the group gets together in episode like 8 or 9, sorry, not 9, like 7 or 8, where like they're almost at the end, and that's when everyone gets together. In this season, episode 4, which has one of the goddamn, the ending of episode 4 is one of the best like horror sequences in a long time that I've seen. It's so good. They combine 2 of the groups, and then there's still like 2 or 3 other groups to combine as the season goes on. So it like staggers how the groups get together, so you don't have to wait till the end of the season for them to meet. It's staggered, so they're slowly making progress towards the mystery. Yeah, this really good season. Which characters were my favorite? I've always liked Will, because he's the least mature, but also the most mature when it comes down to it. He's really human. Sorry, Mike is the one who's like that. Will is just great because he's a cinnamon bun who suffers a lot, and he really just wants his friends to play D&D with him, but they're too busy kissing their girlfriends. And it's like, god damn.
I've seen that meme.
That's real. That's real as shit.
Yeah.
And then Hopper is always a delight.
He was my favorite character. I really liked him.
And this season, he's particularly like, I don't give a fuck kind of cop, where he's like, I'm so done with this shit. Really fun. And Steve is always great. They introduce a character called Robin, who gets paired up with Steve as like his new close friend, potential love interest.
Yeah, that's the thing is, if Steve is who I remember it is, like, even within season 1, he kind of went from like douchebag to like, you know what, Steve, you're all right. And
Steve's
I've heard
character arc is incredibly good.
Yeah, like I've heard so many people say that like he started off douchebag and went to like the most lovable person in the series.
He is the fan favorite, which is why I call him and Dustin are the fan service duo. And they add Robin, who's the daughter of Uma Thurman, and is like the best new character. She's so fun. And then they add Lucas's sister, who's like a fan favorite sassy girl, and then you get your fan server quartet. And they're like by themselves they're the last ones to join with the main group. And yeah, like Steve is just such a likable character, and his relationship with Robin goes really interesting places. That was a really cool way to do that. I think those are all the main points I want to hit. There's the cinematography in this season is the best one yet too. Like, it's filmed so well. There's the scene where this guy has an option to leave. He's basically being kidnapped and forced to go somewhere, and Hopper gives him the key, and he's like, you know what, you can just leave if you want, because he knows he'll come back for reasons. And everyone's like, Hopper, what the fuck are you doing? He's gonna get away. He's our only chance to do this. And they go outside, and he's just parked by the tree line, and the sun is like shining through like this gate, and he could have went, and he's just stopped there, and without even showing the actor's face, just the setup of that scene and how it's filmed, it's like, oh, so much is going through his head right now, and you can tell that without even seeing his face. And that's just one of the many, like, all the weird horror angles. There's the scene where someone gets angry and they kick a desk, and then the rest of the scene is filmed at like a Dutch angle. just really cool stuff. This is probably my favorite season now, and I really like season 1. And season 1 and 2 I put really close to each other. But season 1 has a better, tighter story, but season 2 has better character moments, which character for me goes a long way. But it also has more like weak points in the story department. So I think they balance out pretty closely. But I put 3 cleanly above them, and it's a shame that Joe will never watch it, because especially this season, because he will just shit himself. But maybe one day Bradley will dive in.
Yeah. So I can't remember if you said or not. Was this like a series finale season?
There's 2 more seasons, I think.
Jesus.
The thing is, so this season ends on like a weird note. There's a big death that happens, and I'm like, what the fuck? Did that just happen? And it's like, well, maybe they'll bring it back. But that death had like a really sad after effect on certain characters. And it's like, if they bring that person back, it kind of like cheapens that. So I'm really interested to see where it goes. I don't think the threat of next season will be nearly as good as this one, because like this was the best villain they've had by far. It was so entertaining. But yeah, I'm looking forward to more Stranger Things, because it was really good.
All right.
But that's it. That's